Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. No, wait, that's not it, but it could have been. Today's subject is Alexander the Great, a man whose ambition rivaled the known universe. He conquered more land before 30 than most see in a lifetime. Alexander changed the course of civilization forever. But who was he really? What made him extraordinary? Was it his upbringing, his education, or something cosmic at play? Today we uncover 10 astonishing facts about Alexander the Great. Buckle up, we're about to embark on a journey through time and space. Think getting your driver's license at 16 was tough? Imagine ascending to the throne at 20. That's what Alexander did when his father, King Philip II, was permanently relieved of his duties. Talk about an awkward inheritance. Ruling a kingdom was no lottery win, it was a battle. Empires were built and lost on the battlefield, but Alexander was different. He inherited a war machine primed for conquest. Philip forged the army. Alexander wielded it like a scalpel. This young king led one of the most powerful forces in the ancient world, and boy, did he know how to handle it. Let's talk about Alexander's military prowess, because honestly, this is where things get really interesting. We're not just talking about your average conquer and pillage kind of king. Alexander was playing chess while his enemies were playing checkers. He was thinking 5 moves ahead, anticipating his opponent's strategies before they even formulated them. Imagine this, the Battle of Gaugamela, 331 BC. Alexander, with his comparatively small Macedonian army, faces off against the Persian King Darius III and his massive force. We're talking hundreds of thousands of soldiers, chariots armed with scythes, war elephants, the works. The odds were stacked against Alexander, but did that stop him? Not a chance. He used the terrain to his advantage, outmaneuvered the larger Persian army, and led a devastatingly effective attack that shattered their lines and sent Darius running for his life. This wasn't just a victory, it was a masterclass in military strategy, a testament to Alexander's tactical genius. Now, some might say that Alexander's victories were due to his army's superior training or weaponry, and while those factors certainly played a role, there's one particular siege that proves Alexander was more than just a military commander. He was a problem solver, an engineer, a guy who wouldn't take no for an answer, even from the laws of physics themselves. The year is 332 BC. Alexander sets his sights on Tyre, a powerful island city off the coast of what is now Lebanon. Tyre was considered practically impregnable, surrounded by high walls and protected by the sea itself. Most commanders would have looked at the situation, shrugged their shoulders and said, "Well, that's just too bad, not Alexander." He saw a challenge, an opportunity to prove his ingenuity. If he couldn't reach the city by sea, he'd build a bridge to it. Chapter 4. He founded over 20 cities. Alexander wasn't just about conquering, he was about building. He founded over 20 cities, each strategically placed to solidify his control and promote trade. The most famous of these is Alexandria, Egypt. Founded in 331 BC, it became a jewel of the ancient world. Chapter 5. He was seen as a god. Now, when you're a king, a conqueror, a founder of cities, it's only natural that people start to think you're a little, well, special. But in Alexander's case, it went beyond mere admiration. He wasn't just respected, he was revered. He was seen as a demigod, a living embodiment of divine power. Imagine this, you're a citizen of ancient Egypt, a land steeped in tradition, where pharaohs were considered divine rulers, intermediaries between the gods and mortals. Suddenly, this young Macedonian king shows up, defeats your Persian overlords, and declares himself pharaoh. You'd think people would be resistant, right? But no, they embraced him. Why? Because Alexander understood the power of symbolism, the importance of connecting with the people he conquered on a deeper level. Chapter 6. He never lost a battle. We've talked about Alexander's military genius, his strategic brilliance, his ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds, but let's take a moment to truly appreciate the magnitude of his achievement. He never lost a single battle. Think about that for a second. In the entire history of warfare, there have been very few commanders who can claim such an unblemished record. We're talking about a man who fought his way across 3 continents, from the dusty plains of Persia to the rugged mountains of Afghanistan, from the scorching deserts of Egypt to the lush river valleys of India. He faced countless enemies, each with their own unique fighting styles, from the disciplined hoplites of Greece to the fearsome war elephants of India. He waged war in all kinds of terrain, from open battlefields to dense forests, from mountain passes to scorching deserts. And yet, through it all, he emerged victorious. Alexander, a conquering hero, inspired loyalty among his troops, but his relationship with them was complex. He shared their hardships, ate the same rations, and fought alongside them. This earned him respect, but as campaigns dragged on, cracks began to show. His men, weary from constant warfare, longed to return home. The contrast between their hardships and Alexander's luxury sowed seeds of discontent. Chapter 8. The Death of Alexander. And now we come to one of the greatest mysteries surrounding Alexander the Great, his death. At the age of 32, at the height of his power, this seemingly invincible conqueror was struck down, his grand ambitions cut tragically short. Imagine the scene: Babylon, 323 BC. Alexander, having returned from his Indian campaigns, is planning new conquests, dreaming of conquering Arabia and pushing the boundaries of his empire even further. But fate, it seems, had other plans. He falls ill, struck down by a sudden and mysterious ailment. Fevers rack his body, his strength ebbs away, and within days the conqueror of the world is no more. The exact cause of Alexander's death has been a subject of debate for centuries. Chapter 9. His influence on world culture. Though Alexander's empire fragmented after his death, his impact on the world was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. You see, Alexander wasn't just a conqueror, he was a cultural catalyst, a spreader of ideas, a unifier of civilizations. His conquests brought Greek culture, language, and philosophy into contact with the ancient civilizations of Persia, Egypt, and India. This clash of cultures, far from being destructive, gave rise to a period of unprecedented intellectual and artistic exchange, known as the Hellenistic period. Imagine the vibrant tapestry of this era. Greek sculptures adorned Persian palaces. Egyptian astronomers shared their knowledge with Greek mathematicians. Chapter 10. The mystery of his burial. And so we come to the final mystery surrounding Alexander the Great, the location of his tomb. Despite centuries of searching, the final resting place of this legendary conqueror remains shrouded in enigma, a tantalizing puzzle that continues to captivate historians and archaeologists alike. We know that Alexander's body was initially preserved in honey and transported to Memphis, Egypt, where it was interred in a lavish tomb. Later, his remains were moved to Alexandria, the city he founded, and placed in a grand mausoleum, a fitting monument to a ruler of his stature. The location of this mausoleum, however, was lost to time, swallowed by the shifting sands of history. Some ancient accounts suggest it was located within the royal quarter of Alexandria, perhaps near the Serapeum, a temple dedicated to the god Serapis. Others claim it was situated outside the city walls, near the intersection of major roads, a symbolic gateway between east and west. Just a legacy forged in conquest and culture. Alexander the Great may have left this world at a young age, but his legacy continues to live on in the very fabric of modern civilization. From his unmatched military prowess to the cities he founded and the cultural revolution he ignited, Alexander's impact on history is nothing short of extraordinary. His story is a powerful reminder that even in the ancient world, human ambition, ingenuity, and the thirst for knowledge could reshape the course of history. Alexander's empire may have crumbled, but the ideas he unleashed, the cultural exchange he sparked, continued to resonate long after his death, shaping the world we know today. His life, full of triumphs and enigmas, will forever captivate the world, inspiring us to push the boundaries of human achievement, to seek knowledge in all its forms, and to strive for a more interconnected and understanding world.